testimony. Ever since I was a young boy, I was always fascinated with stories of the old days, the old ways, and the old people telling the stories. Each of us in our own way delivers a personal narrative and lives that out on Turtle Island. In each voice there is a reflection of the traditional storytelling technique that honors our ancestors. Here then are but a few of them. Egusei, Hai Kanastamunitan.
In time before memory, our ancestors lived in disorder, confusion, and constant fear of starvation. To help the Nishkak Aimligi Hasha, Chief of Heavens, sent his grandson, Khamsum. When Khamsum found our people wandered in the darkness, he brought sunlight to the world. Our ancestors built our culture from connecting with this universal intelligence we call Aimligi Hasha. In our studies about Indigenous ways of knowing, there is a dialogue about identity. How did our ancestors devise a process to ensure that our people grew up confident with high self-esteem and a strong voice? Rites of passage, a very powerful process. When a baby is born, there are ceremonies that need to be performed. Ethics on right living instilled in children, which teach respect, reciprocity, reverence, relevance, and responsibility. A transition through each stage of life. Entrenched in Ayuknaska are the ancient laws and ethics that govern our behavior and our way of living. The laws of Hawak and Gilach are the foundation stones that we build our lives. The father's tribe determines the child's will selects. The will selects are the paternal caregivers that have some very specific roles in the child's life, right from birth to death. Studies have shown that our traditional ways of knowing need to come back into our school curriculum. Our elders need to be utilized to teach. This will give way to reviving and restoring rites of passage so that our future generations have a better quality of life and strong leadership skills.
In the Silk way, life and learning begins at inception and carries us through our entire lives. And our teachers were always those that loved us the most, our parents, grandparents, aunties, and uncles. Babies are a sacred and welcome part of the family. In the old days, babies were placed in a cradle board and taken everywhere with the family. In that cradle board, they were stood up so that they could train their eyes and their mind to be observers. With learning comes responsibility to teach others what we know, and knowledge does not belong to one person. We also have a responsibility to our temhulo, our land. Our land is also that which gives us life. Our cultural ways of knowing are passed down through Chaptik, the Okanagan story system. Our traditional stories reflect cultural, spiritual, and historical knowledge that is passed down from generation to generation. The Insilktan word, quilmist, translates to pull together your heart, mind, strength, and determination for leadership.
Cultural journey to the Crow Fair at the Crow Agency. Traveling to the Crow Agency to visit what some people refer to as the largest teepee gathering on Turtle Island in 2016 with my partner brings back a lot of memories. Here is some of the things we'd like to share with you. Entering into the camp, exhausted from our drive, we camped out for the night inside our makeshift camp inside our rig. Making do, exploring a cultural mosaic like the Crow Fair as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We were tired but happy. We are intricately connected and interwoven and tied to the horse culture on the plains, as many nations use the horse to support our traditional economies, such as trading, hunting, and protecting our territories. This was the way. Many others come to witness history and see perhaps the old ways, hoping to catch a glimpse of the old way of life. Feeling nostalgic about the passing, fading into history is not what the Crow Fair is about. Not far from the Crow Agency is the site of the Little Bighorn. Rather, it is about participation in a celebration of our cultural strength and sharing our gifts of song, dance, trade, and exchange. This practice has become a cultural feature of transmission in Indigenous teachings, ways of life. Hai hai, kinastimunitan.
Hahopa begins while the baby is still in the womb. Mother, father, grandparents, brothers and sisters share stories during this time. Hahopa continues after birthday to 16 years old. Parents, aunties, uncles, and elders draw upon a child's strengths. They do this as it makes teaching her easier. The young lady in these photos found her strengths to be in the arts. Elders taught their crafts using traditional materials, designs, and colors of the day. They encourage their grandchildren to be creative and not to let our skills fade away and die. Grandparents will always remind young people that Hahopa never loses its usefulness. They freely admit that their grandkids are now teaching them new things. Life is a circle.